What's up, dudes? This is Bathory back here again with a brand new video for you guys. Welcome back to the most inconsistent channel in metal YouTube history. Yeah, you read the title. We are going to go over the thrash and speed metal records of my collection, which I'm pretty excited to go over. I love speed, and I love thrash metal. Speed metal, obviously. But, before we go on, let's just talk a little bit. I'm sorry for being gone again. My last video was in March, the day before I saw Obituary. So I've been going to a lot of shows since then. So in the days since, I've seen Obituary, Voivod, Onslaught, Crowbar, and I saw the Amon Conquest with Deathclaw and Monomarth. I saw Rotting Christ and Immolation. They were on the tour with Behemoth and Deicide, but Rotting Christ and Immolation, they decided to do like a split off show in a city I go to, and so I got to see them. It was a really really sick show. Uh, then I saw Pentagram, which is freaking amazing, and my buddies in a band called Hooded Grave opened up for Pentagram, which was a huge honor for them. If you're looking for some like classic doom metal, and also like if you're looking for, I mean, yeah, classic sounding doom metal, but also like 70s sounding heavy metal, you should check out Hooded Grave. They are amazing live, and they're amazing dudes. So shout out Hooded Grave. Mm. Mexican Coke. It's a lot better than the American variety. And I'm using a freaking Midnight Patch as a coaster. Because what's more metal than that? I apologize for my voice. I'm a little bit sick at the moment, so I'm sounding all nasally. I could be the new singer of Megadeth if I wish to. I'm sorry, Dave. I love you. Oh yeah, and the last concert I was at was freaking Cradle of Filth. And check it out. I got a brand new Cradle of Filth shirt in the mail today. This is the Decadence is a Virtue. I really love this t-shirt. It's a four-sided shirt. And I really love the older style of a Cradle of Filth merch. It was just a lot better. It looked a lot better in the 90s. And this looks like one of those older style shirts. The Cradle of Filth show was amazing. It was a Suffocation opened up for them, which was really neat. And I'm glad I got to see Cradle because they have been one of my favorite bands for a long time. So it was quite amazing. And yes, that's why I painted my nails. I like painting nails. What can I say? Um, you know what? I don't know what else to say. Like, I started my summer classes. I got another certificate for my HVAC studies. Um, so I figured, you know what? Let's just make this YouTube video. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, before we go on, I want to say that this video is dedicated to my friend, Fred from the UK. If you don't know who Fred is, he's a really, really cool guy. You should probably go follow him. And we're part of a international band project thing. We're called Evil Blade. Thrash and speed metal. Just as thrash metal should sound like. So we'll have some material out soon. Give him a follow, give him a listen. And Fred, if you're watching this, how you doing, man? You're freaking awesome. I'll be back in the UK one day, brother, and we'll meet and we'll jam and we'll fuck shit up. All right. You know what? This goes out to you, buddy. And just as always, with a Vitus Bathory quota, this is unscripted, unprepared, and fully raw. And so I apologize for the audio quality, the visual quality, and other type of qualities thereof. Enough chat. Let's get into the thrash and speed records of my collection. Oh yeah, and also I just got to say something. I'm not going to be including like the black metal bands that can be considered black metal. Like there's going to be no Celtic Frost, there's going to be no Destruction in this because I already covered them in the black metal video. And also the blackened genres or the blackened speed or blackened thrash, that's not going to be in here because most likely I added them into the black metal video. So these are just purely thrash and purely speed. right now. I apologize, but that's just how it is. Let's get into it. I don't really have much to say about a lot of my thrash metal records, so I'm only gonna talk or CDs, so I'll only mention two of them. And let's just get started. One of only two CDs I'm gonna talk about is this one right here. Overdose of Death by Toxic Holocaust. And in my hands, this is the greatest thrash metal record of the 2000s. And it's not a debate. It's just like, there was a thrash metal renaissance that happened in the 2000s, and Toxic Holocaust were a part of them. But do not confuse these guys for like those pizza thrash guys like Municipal Waste or whatever. I'm not dogging on Municipal Waste. I've seen them and I love them. They're a great live show. If you've never seen Toxic, or if you've never seen Municipal Waste live, you definitely should. But Toxic definitely had it down to a freaking science, combining elements of like what old thrash metal, like first wave black metal, and even a little bit of hardcore punk in here, and also some rock and roll. Like, come on! Like when you listen to tracks like Grave Lord or Lord of the Wasteland, so all the lords, you definitely can hear a twinge of old time rock and roll. Like what Lord of the Wasteland has a freaking tambourine in it, dude. And it works. And the outro to Gravelord, that is a pure what? Thin Lizzy, Motorhead. It's rock and roll. Led Zeppelin, it's everything. Yeah, greatest thrash metal record of the 2000s. It's phenomenal. Had like a lot of the thrash bands of the 2000s sounded like this. I think, I don't know. But this is a classic. I got this through Hell's Headbangers. So J Dog and all those lovely motherfuckers over at Hell's Headbangers, thank you very much, brah. I feel like when I say brah, I feel like Cleveland saying giggity. Like if you guys know that up scene from Family Guy. Anyways, my favorite track off this album, yeah, it is Grave Lord. I freaking love them. And I've seen Toxic Holocaust. They were opening up for Guar, 2025 on the Return of Gorgor tour. That's fun to say. But I was more excited for Toxic. Alright. Last CD we're going to be talking about is Voivod Roar. And this is my third favorite. Oh, and this is my third favorite thrash metal album. And it has a variety of thrash that I really like, which is like the dirty, raunchy rock and roll sound. You know? When I saw Voivod, they didn't play anything off of this record, but I think that is okay because you got to give your band credit. When you go see a band that you really like and they don't play your favorite song, it's okay. You know what? It's still your favorite. It's still one of your favorite bands, right? It's like take Cradle for existence. For example, they didn't play Twisted Nails of Faith, nor did they play Forgive Me, Father, but it's still Cradle of Filth, and you just still got to enjoy it. And that's exactly what I did with Voivod. And like my Midnight CD, my Midnight Satanic Royalty CD, this comes with three things. So it comes with the album itself, this comes with a live track, and this is a DVD. Yeah, I have not listened to the DVD or listened watched the DVD yet, but I'm gonna change that here soon. Life just gets busy. My favorite track off of this one is or my favorite Voivod song comes from this one, and that is Thrashing Rage. And I do got a little bit of a funny story on how that is. When I saw Voivod back in March, literally the day after Obituary, um, after the show, like they did like a little meet and greet, like hanging out, blah blah blah, talking. And I got them to sign my vest, which is really, really sick of them, so thank you guys if you're ever gonna watch this. But as I was leaving, I saw a snake outside having a cigarette. I was like, oh shit. And then, we got to talking like a little teeny tiny bit. I asked him what his favorite Voivod song was, and I don't think he even answered. I think he was like, oh, that's a hard question. And what's it called? And then I told him, yeah, hey, my favorite thrash metal or my favorite Voivod song is The Hell Driver, which is an example of what I meant with like dirty, raunchy rock and roll. I just love riffs like that. It definitely has a very big Motorhead feel to it. And then he looked at me and he says, with a little smile, he's like, "You mean thrashing rage?" And he starts going like Beavis and Butthead. That's what we turned into for a second, and I thought it was magical. And you know what? Just because Snake from Voivod said that it's my favorite song, it's my favorite song. Snake has spoken. Voivod. Voivod! And actually, a really funny story involving Voivod. There was a kid there, right? And he was complimenting me on my vest. His uncle was there with him. He was a really cool guy too. And when I was at Amon Amarth and Death Clock, I was in the pit for Twilight of the Thunder God, and that same kid was there. That same dude was there. He's definitely like he's definitely a sloth given how tall he is. But we were the only two motherfuckers in that concert hall who were screaming Voivod. We literally saw each other in the mosh pit, and he was like Voivod, and I was like Voivod. It was so funny. So shout out to him too, and Voivod. I really love their old design of t-shirts too. And you know what? Let's get right into the records. And we're starting off now with a speed metal masterpiece from High Roller Records. And you'll never guess where I found this at. Hit Records in Columbia, Missouri. And this is At War, Order to Kill. And again, this is what I'm talking about with dirty, raunchy rock and roll. And not to mention their excellent cover of The Hammer by Motorhead. You know, if you cover Motorhead and you do it justice, I'm instantly gonna like your band. I do consider this more of a speed metal record than I do a thrash metal record, but that's just me. High Roller Records, this is a 2024 pressing, which I think is really, really cool. Like, I feel like, the crew from Predator? I feel like this is what those guys would sound like, or would definitely listen to. It's either that or Carnivore, but my favorite track off of this is Ilsa, She Wolf of the SS. And like I said, like their Motorhead cover, it's really, really sick. And this lived in my player for at least like 3 weeks. It's that good. And it's kind of, well, I guess nowadays I wouldn't say obscure, but nobody talks about these guys as much as they should. They just have a blend of speed metal, which is just dirty and hard rocking. I love it. At War, Order to Kill. Go check it out, nerd. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry about nerds. I got little blood sugars. That's a Metalocalypse reference. Next up is a Teutonic metal masterpiece, and that is Pleasure to Kill. And I have finally have this in my hands after so long. I found this at a record store in Shrewsbury, UK, or Shrewsbury, England, excuse me. But I chose to buy a Celtic Frost other than this. But I found this at Studio Records in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had a pretty sick metal section, to be honest, which is really, really neat. And I had to buy it, obviously. Yeah, this is a stable point for metal in 1986 because that was a really grand year for metal at that time. Or for metal at that time, what am I talking about? It's freaking amazing. Heavy, really, really aggressive, just as Teutonic thrash metal should be. Because when you think of the difference between American thrash and German thrash, German thrash like brought the freaking aggression to it, you know? And this shows, this kind of borders on the lines of like death metal. It's a teeny tiny bit, just in my opinion. It could definitely be considered. No, I probably wouldn't go that far. Definitely an influence to death metal, though. Do not get me wrong. And I have seen people call this like a first wave black metal record. I don't agree with it. I think it's just thrash, and definitely like Endless Pain is definitely more black metal than this one for sure. Favorite song of this one? Under the Guillotine. Like, come on now, dude. It's a classic. If you're a thrash metal fan, and if you don't at least like old Creator, go watch Party Cannon or something like that. Creator, Pleasure to Kill. Creator, if you're listening or if you're watching this, which I doubt, you gotta play more songs after that one, bud. Just in my opinion. And now we're gonna be sticking in Germany for a little teeny tiny bit with another underappreciated record, and that is Violent Force, the malevolent creation of tomorrow. Definitely a thrash metal record. I mean, because like what, when you look at their picture on I mean, when you look at pictures of Violent Force, there's a dude who's completely like if you he looks like if you plucked him from like the 70s punk movement and placed him in Germany. That's what the drummer I think it was. I do not remember, but this is very underappreciated when it comes to German thrash metal because when everybody talks about German thrash, they only talk about three bands. So that's Sodom, Destruction, and Crater. Well, rightfully so, but there's a lot more, and this shows. This is I mean, what can I say? It's like definitely Motorhead inspired. It's definitely like think of like the elements of Motorhead, but make it like 12 times aggressive, but not like on the level of Sodom. What can you say? Germans love Motorhead, and this shows. I gotta give this another listen. I freaking love it. High Roller Records, and also found out Hit Records too. So shout out Hit Records, shout out High Roller. Violent Force, you guys are freaking amazing. Next. Oh, here we go. I guess we have a little bit of a theme, and that is Tankard Zombie Attack. Freaking this is a classic. I would say like this is another underappreciated classic, and the only band of the German Big Four that did not start out as a black metal band. Zombie Attack, it's classic, it talks about drinking and it talks about metal and everything like that. So it's pretty much just metal summed up and like that. And I love the artwork for it. So you got what Dracula and Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the corpse. And I'm assuming that's just supposed to represent like some form of slasher, you know. Sorry, it's a little hard to talk. My nose is all congested. High Roller Records. Wait, no, is this? No, excuse me, that's not High Roller. I'm sorry. I haven't listened to this one in a little teeny tiny bit, but I heard they were really good at Hell's Heroes. That I decided not to go to. It was just too much money in college. So what can you really say? My favorite track off of this record has to be Chains. It's a great thing. It's just a very classic thrash metal record, and this goes back to and this invokes a take I have that there's nothing wrong with the band releasing a generic sounding album. It's literally just sounds like what thrash metal's supposed to sound like, and I see nothing wrong with that. Tankard, Zombie Attack, listen to it, have a few beers, and have a good time. And yet again, we're staying in Germany, but we're going a little bit modern because this is a 2026 release, and I'm really glad to finally have at least one thing from their discography in my collection, and that's fucking Sodom. Get what you deserve. You know, one of the songs off of here, Die Stimme Ursel, that used to be my favorite Sodom song, just overall. I loved Get What You Deserve. I think that this is actually the first Sodom record I ever heard, and it was amazing. And to hear that they were remastering this with a freaking sick album cover, I love this new album cover. It's like a Kanaran Hines face reveal, which it's so it's sick. It's like what can you say? It is an amazing remaster. So it comes this one comes with two discs, and one is like the 2026 remaster, and the other one is the 2026 Blitzkrieg remix. Favorite song off of this one? Obviously, Dish Time also, track 5. It's it's a beautiful record. Oh, I remember I was listening to this record when I was just flying down back roads, and it was an amazing thing. I was driving home from a friend's house, and there's nothing. Here's what you do: you get in your car, you put this in your CD player, or play it on your phone through Bluetooth. Drive down back roads, be careful, and just have a freaking sick time. Or better yet, drive a tank while listening to this record. It gladdens me to know that I finally have a little bit of Sodom in my freaking record collection. Get what you deserve. I know this came out in the 90s, well, the original album did, but this is definitely one of my favorite releases of 2026. Thank you, James, from Jam and Nuggets for ordering this for me. Appreciate you. I would totally have, for this next record, I would totally have put this in my traditional heavy metal uh showcase, but I didn't own it at the time. Uh, so I'll categorize it as speed metal, even though I really just see it as trad. But it could be both, and that is Tank, Fell Towns of Hades, which I do believe it is the greatest. It is the greatest new album of all time. It's my favorite, and I think it's the greatest. There are no bad tracks out of this one. Come on. Tank is a classic. Tank fucks. If you don't like Tank, you don't like metal. It is seriously an answer to one of Motorhead's many, many calls. And the poster that this comes with is literally the members of Tank chilling with Lemmy. How can that not be cool? Could you just imagine a tour back in like 1984 with, or in 1982 with fucking Motorhead, Tank, and Voivod? That would be absolutely insane. And I really love the change in color palette because the original album cover is it's blue. You got reds in there. It's like very colorful, but I love the black and yellow type of look to it. High Roller Records, and I think I got this on the same day I saw Obituary too, so that was really really cool. Produced by Eddie Clark. What more can you say about that? Favorite track off of this one? Heavy Artillery. Come on. It's trad metal at its best. And you got a little bit of punk in there, so it's kind of like the Paul Diano thing, where it's a punk singer on a metal. It's a punk singer in a metal band, and it works. It's flat out gorgeous. I think a lot more thrash metal bands need to take notes from Tank, to be honest. Good speed metal, good trad metal, the greatest new album record in the world. Tank, baby. I sound like Butthead. Here, I'm excited to talk about this one because this is my second favorite thrash metal record of all time, and that is Onslaught Power from Hell. And yes, I do consider this one to be a black metal record. Only this one, because definitely the Force is a lot more thrash oriented. But given the far away production and the style of the vocals here, I would definitely consider this one to be with the first wave of black metal. And you know what? You can make fun of me all you want in the comments, but when I saw Onslaught, I got to talking to them after the show, and I asked them something along the lines of this. I was like, hey, a lot of people, especially today, seem to categorize you with the first wave of black metal, which, the bands like Venom, Merciful Fate, Bathory, and Hellhammer. Would you agree with that? And they said yes. So definitely, I'll consider this one first wave black metal, and it's perfect. It's freaking perfect. So thrash metal record, first wave black metal, but they call themselves death metal, which happens to be my favorite track off the record, and my favorite death metal or my favorite Onslaught song of all time, death metal. Freaking, it was the second song that played at the concert, and I freaking lost my mind. Immediately ran to the mosh pit. It was amazing. And you want to know a little bit of a rumor that went around at that time? Apparently, Phil from Pantera was there at that Onslaught concert. I looked back and there was a dude in a hoodie that looked exactly like Phil Anselmo, and I was like, holy shit! But I didn't say anything to him because he just disappeared. And all other people who were at that show are saying the same thing. But anyways, It's a beautiful, aggressive record. I love the branch of extreme metal that was coming out in 1985. 1985, this was freaking monstrous, I would have to say. High Roller Records, too. Nige can still fucking rock it. I gotta say. Long songs, really evil sounding. And why didn't I put this in the black metal video? Because I didn't talk Onslaught yet. Onslaught. If you want to see Onslaught, go for it, dude. They did a tour with Warlord, which is freaking amazing, like after Hell's Heroes. Yeah. There you go. Now here, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here. See this record right here? Morbid Saint, Spectrum of Death. This shit is more aggressive and more frightening than a lot of the brutal death metal coming out today. Come on. This is way more aggressive than fucking a lot of these brutal death metal bands and like these hardcore bands LARPing as freaking death metal. This blows everything out of the water. Death metal bands need to start taking notes from Morbid Saint and Slayer's Hell Awaits. You've got to, dude. This is aggressive as donkey balls, dude. Holy shit. And for the longest time I thought these guys are German. I don't know why. I always thought they were I was always under the impression that they were German. But guess not. Definitely not talked about enough. This is an insanely great album. Favorite track off of this has to be Assassin. Aggressive as shit. I love aggressive thrash metal, and these guys have it down to a inverted T. That's an inverted cross pun, by the way. Oh. Oh, I didn't even realize they have a hate list. They have a special thanks to and a hate list. That's pretty freaking crazy. I had the chance to see these guys over in St. Louis, but I wish. I so wish. These guys would be really, really cool to see live. I need to spin this again. But yeah, if you're looking for something really aggressive and thrashy, Morbid Saint. That'll help you out, man. Go take a listen to them. Here we go. Here's the classic, and this is another one of my favorites, and this is Metallica's Ride the Lightning. I do believe that this is Metallica's greatest record. It is just, I love the tone. The tone is crisp and frosty. It's amazing. It's definitely a classic, not only in metal, or not just in thrash metal, but just in metal overall. But a lot of people need to stop talking about For Whom the Bell Tolls. I'm not saying that's a bad song. It's a great song, but there's definitely more songs to hear. Favorite song off of this record has to be, well, my favorite Metallica song. No, my favorite Metallica song is Phantom Lord. But my favorite song up to this is Trapped Under Ice. Excellent performance. I think this is, no, I think At Justice for All is the peak of Metallica, but this is definitely, it's better than Master of Puppets. Definitely better than the 90s Metallica. It's a metal classic. I think if you're a metalhead, you just got to listen to this record. It's perfect. And this was a birthday gift. So thank you very much. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. No words said. No words needed. But here we go. Here we go now. So a lot of people beg the question of like who truly invented thrash metal. People say it's Venom. People say it's Motorhead. Personally, I think it's a three-way tie, and this album and this band are definitely one of the first. Come on, like this is a classic definition of thrash. For 1983, definitely I think the two other bands who helped invent thrash metal, Slayer, Show No Mercy, and Exciter, a heavy metal maniac. I know that's speed metal, but come on, like if you're an 80s speed metal, if you were an 80s thrash metal band, you were called speed metal at least once. And there were definitely some speedy metal songs up in here. What the hell is that language? Yeah, classic album. If you are new to thrash metal, I think this is like the perfect place to start because this is where thrash metal started, obviously. What? This is an insanely classic record. And as I said, my favorite Metallica songs off of here, Phantom Lord. I used to have this on CD, then I upgraded. I was obsessed by this album when I was in 7th grade. Of course, like when you're 13, 14, and you're a metalhead, there are definitely like you want to be like your heroes. I wanted to be Cliff Burton when I was 13, and it was embarrassing looking. But what can you say? I will not tolerate Metallica hate. Okay, maybe when it comes to their price of tickets, but when it comes to their music, just throw this on the record and shut up and have a good time. Metallica, kill them all. Now here's one. I think this one covers three different genres: speed metal, thrash metal, and crossover thrash. So and I think this is the only crossover thrash metal record I have. Crossover, yeah, I said that right. I think. Hyrax, Raging Violence. Hyrax has been getting a lot of love over the last like couple years, and rightfully so. This is definitely one of the most fascinating records I've ever heard because you have like this aggressive sound like what you can hear on Stormtroopers of Death or on Cryptic Slaughter, but you have like a traditional metal vocalist, which really sounds like the likes of what Bruce Dickinson. It sounds like if Bruce Dickinson was singing on Cryptic Slaughter, that's what Hyrax sounds like to me, and it's beautiful. I really wish I would have gone on that tour or would have went to one of the shows where it's like what was it Midnight Hyrax Death Angel Dark no it was Midnight Hyrax Dark Angel and Violence. I know there was a couple other bands here and there. Sacred Reich, yeah, and Interceptor. I really wish I would have gone on this one. Would have gone to one of those shows, but oh well, they didn't come anywhere near me. Love the artwork. I love the just record overall. It's a very underappreciated thrash metal record, which is bullshit. Everybody, if you call yourself a thrash metal fan, you've got to at least have heard this one, right? And don't just listen to Demons Evil Forces. Come on, it's a great song. And I would definitely say it's one of the contenders for one of the best thrash metal songs ever written. But you gotta listen to the entire album, dude. Metal Blade Records. I got this for my 20th birthday. Hyrax, Rage and Violence. Here we go now. Another one of my favorite records, or favorite thrash metal records. Slayer, Show No Mercy. This is my second favorite Slayer album, and definitely, as I said earlier, one of the contenders for the inventors of thrash metal as it is. And you know what? A lot of people have been throwing this in lately with the first wave of black metal, which is something I don't really agree with, but I definitely entertain it. Like, sure, why the hell not? Like, I would play this. Like, if I was dedicating a day just to listen to, like, first wave black metal, Venom, Bathory, Celtic Frost, I would throw in a little bit of fucking early Slayer. I mean, they have the look, they have the sound for it. I just think if, like, Tom Araya's vocals were a little bit harsher, it would have been perfect. And a lot of people, like, back in the day used to say that this was a combination of Venom and. and Merciful Fate, which really, really shows. This is a 2015 pressing. Pretty impressive. Favorite song off of this one, Cryonics. I love I love the nod to freaking traditional metal with Cryonics. It's perfect. And this is definitely one of my favorite album covers in metal because it's so simple but it's really freaking effective. And obviously you get freaking Baphomet holding a sword. Come on. How much more metal can you really get? Um it's unfortunate how people think that this is the only good Slayer record. I mean, it's fucking Slayer, you know. It's not freaking Diablos and Musica. Come on now. Classic, one of the innovators of thrash metal. Listen to it. What can you really say? And no, okay, it looks like we're gonna be into a little bit of a Slayer binge here. So this is South of Heaven. South of Heaven is really when you start to see Slayer really change. Okay, with Slayer, you can definitely hear like every album sounds different, but they follow this similar formula. But this album right here, which I think is probably the greatest Slayer album cover of all time, it looks like a freaking like Renaissance painting. Like you'd freaking find this on a in a book. Like if there was like a book dedicated to art inspired by the Divine Comedy, you'd find this. But this is definitely where Slayer started to change. Cause look, like what did Slayer look like back in the day? Like back in the early days, chains, spikes, uh, eyeliner. Then they just turned all freaking business casual on us. Songs got longer. It's not. It's very fast, very aggressive, but it sounds tamer than what you would find on like Rain and Blood. Favorite record or favorite track off of this record, Spill the Blood. I remember I got this I remember like. Here, you guys remember when Doom the Dark Ages came out? I remember like I listened to this record as it was downloading and it was perfect. Hmm. Yeah, like I like it when bands change it up a little teeny tiny bit, and I think Slayer did, and I think great transitional period record. Slayer, South of Heaven. Go listen to it. All right, here we go. Here we go now. We have Slayer, Rain and Blood, and this was a gift for my 17th birthday. So thanks, mom and dad. Um, yeah, like as I said earlier, like this followed along the same blueprints as What Hell Awaits and Show No Mercy, Haunting the Chapel, but it definitely did change up a little bit too. Of course, phenomenal tracks like What Angel of Death and Rain and Blood, like songs that everybody knows, and which ended up becoming staple points within the thrash metal genre. And I don't think that there's any bad songs off of this record. And you know what? Some people have gone so far as to say that this is the greatest metal record ever made, which I entertain the thought. I don't really agree, but as I said, I entertain it, and I can definitely see why, obviously. Yeah, as I said, if you're new to thrash metal, just go ahead, listen to this. You'll pretty much get a great understanding of the genre as a whole. 1986, so this is right up there with a lot of the great other classics like What Master of Puppets, Pleasure to Kill, Obsessed by Cruelty, stepping outside the realms of thrash metal, you got Epicus, Tumicus, Metallicus, um, and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, what can you really be said about this album? Because all the praises of it. Sure, I do think that Rain and Blood is a teeny tiny bit overplayed, but with good reason. It's a great song, and this is definitely one of the contenders for one of the greatest thrash metal records of all time. And at times I said that this was. Who cares if it's overplayed or over talked about? It earns it. Rain and Blood from a Lacerated Sky. Okay, here we go. Now, this is my favorite Slayer record, Hell Awaits. And you know what? I've noticed a theme. A lot of people, especially nowadays, are starting to call this death metal. Now, is this something that I agree with? I mean, as I said, not really, but I never said I disagreed with it. Okay, here's the thing. Had Tom Araya's vocals been a little bit harsher, like at least maybe Max Calavera type of harsh, this would be considered death metal. And listen and like watch the live performances of Slayer during this time period. That shit is the blueprint for death metal. Songs got long. It's haunting. Definitely one of the most evil sounding records ever in music, not just in metal. In music, it sounds evil. It literally sounds like this was recorded, like, it literally sounds like if you had big microphones and there's somehow like a portal to hell. This sounds like this was recorded in hell. This is what I don't. Okay, I don't believe in the hell. I believe in 1L hell. But this is what hell would probably sound like. You know, it's a beautiful record. It's evil. It's fast. It's thrashy. Goes a lot. I mean, I would. I'm not gonna say it's a death metal, but I think death metal. And here's another thing about death metal. I think death metal is definitely lacking and failing today because without a respect or love or influence from this record, it's perfect. My favorite is my favorite fucking Slayer record. You know what? I may have to spin this tonight after I'm done with the video. Hell awaits. But okay, I will do say this, and this is probably where everyone's gonna click off. But I do like Cradle of Filth's cover of the song Hell Awaits better than the actual track. I don't know, it just sounds more aggressive. Don't kill me, please. Oh, here we go. Slayer haunting the chapel. Okay, if you're one of those people who think that Show No Mercy sounds black metal, okay. But like I would definitely say that this is probably the most black metal you would hear out of Slayer. Only just 4 tracks, which is really freaking effective. Haunting the Chapel, the title track, probably is my second favorite Slayer song of all time, and my favorite track off of this record or this EP. Um, what could be really said? I decided to get this one because it was at the record store, and I really did want to get like the edition where it's live undead and this one because I don't really listen to a lot of live records. Haunting the Chapel, one of the greatest EPs of all time. It has its own unique sound, which I think is amazing. I love the production on this record. If you're looking for something evil sounding, fast, haunting, just spooky and metal, Haunting the Chapel, go for it, dude. Oh, here's one. Another one of my favorite thrash metal records, and that is Slaughter Strappado. You know, very underappreciated. No one ever really talks about it. This is the true Slaughter, not that glam metal shit. It sounds like, you know, when it sounds like the band I wanted to be a part of when I was like 14, you know. It legit sounds like metal. It sounds like a metal band if that makes sense. Canada, one of Canada's finest. It's just perfect. I don't even know what to say about this because my train of thoughts is starting to run out, and it's kind of hard for me to talk right now. Fucking Slaughter Strappado. Next. Oh, here we go. In my hands, I am holding the greatest speed metal record of all time, and that is Running Wild Gates to Purgatory. Come on. It's like, if you are wondering what's the difference between thrash metal and speed metal, I egg you on to like listen to Rain and Blood, thrash metal, and then listen to this one, and you could definitely hear the clear difference because there is no punk influence on this. If you're wondering what the difference between thrash and speed metal is, well, thrash metal is a combination of the new wave of British heavy metal style mixed with hardcore punk. But speed metal has no punk influence. This is just 100% metal, baby. And it is satanic as a motherfucker, dude. It is like almost every song of it has something to do with like the devil, or at least it mentions it, or at least occultic satanic imagery. I'm not freaking complaining. It's a great one. And you could definitely hear like a little bit of power metal in this one too, with like What Soldiers of Hell. But I think Running Wild became truly power metal at Brandon and Exiled. So even before their whole like pirate themed power metal type stuff. Classic record. If you call yourself a metalhead, don't listen to Running Wild. Are you really a metalhead? I know, I like to say things like that to be provocative, but what can you say? Here's one. We got Razor, freaking Evil Invaders. Another one of Canada's finest thrash metal bands, coming from the depths of speed metal and going full on thrash with a vocal style that is really fitting. I don't think the vocals on this record would fit with any other band, but with Razor it freaking fits. It's purely amazing. I think my favorite song off this record, Evil Invader title track has to be Evil Invaders, right? This just look like this just looks like a metal record in it. I'm sorry, I'm starting to lose my train of thought. I got this at High Roller Records. No, I got this at Hit Records in Columbia. That's where I get a lot of like my harder to find records because I have a great selection. If you're ever in the Columbia area, please go show them some love. I need to give this another listen again. It's been a second. Razor. You know what? I'm kind of burnt out, so I'll just show these at the same time because I really don't know what to say about these records anymore. And we have two Overkill records. We have Taking Over and The Years of Decay. I've seen Overkill, and they were opening up for King Diamond, and it was one of the greatest thrash metal shows I've been to. But I do think Onslaught Takes the Cake with the greatest thrash metal show I've been to. What can I say? It's like I really do think like if someone was to listen to Overkill, they would just get a pleasant understanding of what thrash metal is. Bobby Blitz's vocals are awesome. The riffs are freaking classic, and overall it's a great time. It's Overkill, bro. Overkill. I would totally say more about these guys, but I really don't know what to say. I'm kind of like in my head right now. Alright, guys. Those are the thrash and speed metal records of my collection. I hope you made it this far. I know it was kind of a long one, which I apologize for. But that's why we're here, right? We're passionate about heavy metal and we like talking about them. Alright, so in the comments, please let me know what your favorite thrash metal record is, what your favorite speed metal record is, and if you have them in your collection. And if you don't have any, what is a thrash metal record or speed metal record you would like to have in your collection? Enough said. Alright, guys, it's good to be back on YouTube after a little bit. Yeah. Have a nice night. See you later. But as always, stay metal.